I want to call the meeting to order. So if everyone could please rise for the Pledge of Allegiance. I pledge allegiance to the flag of the United States of America and to the republic for which it stands, one nation, under God, indivisible, with liberty and justice for all. Thank you. Madam Clerk, could you please call the roll?
Trustee Rogers?
Present.
Trustee Reinders?
Present.
Trustee Pazmino?
Present.
Trustee Consolino?
Present.
Trustee Fialco?
Present.
Trustee Laha?
Present.
Mayor Yukich?
Present. Are there any amendments to the agenda?
Yes, there is. According to the email we received this afternoon from Melissa King, I'd like to remove the workshop item number 1. And nothing's changed since then, correct, Melissa?
Correct.
Thank you.
Okay. All right, that's all you have?
Yes, sir. From me.
Okay. Next would be public comment. So whoever would like to speak, if you can keep it 3 minutes or under, would be absolutely great.
Well, since you said who wanted to speak first, I just figured, what the hell, I'd get up and do it. All right, well, he said just get up, that's what I did, but I'll go back and sit down, you can call me then.
Gail Snyder.
Good evening, Mayor Yukich and trustees. Thank you for putting the speakers at the beginning of the agenda rather than at the end. I really appreciate that. Unfortunately, it's with great disappointment that I have to be here tonight yet again to fight for one of the unique characteristics of our community that make it the envy of other communities and the reason why so many are compelled to live here, open space. My name is Gail Snyder, and I was a member of the group that advocated for the Homer Township Open Space Program. I served as the Homer Township Land Acquisition Committee as secretary. Later, I worked to incorporate the village of Homer Prairie, which was not successful. I was a member of the committee to incorporate Homer Glen and was appointed by a judge to serve on the first board of the village of Homer Glen. There's a plaque in this building somewhere that lists the founding fathers of Homer Glen, and I'm listed on it with others who worked to make this village a reality. All 3 of these efforts had 2 things in common: to control development and to preserve the open and rural character of this community. We wanted to control our destiny by controlling the density of development. Our community had very little say in what happened here prior to incorporation. Will County and any town that annexed part of Homer Township did as they pleased with development. This is why current efforts to develop open space land are wrong and misguided. You are all residents of Homer Glen and Homer Township, and as elected officials, who I would assume do not want to go against the spirit and intent behind the residents who voted to create the Homer Township Open Space Program, if you allow development of a subdivision on open space, it will go against the good faith the voters had in voting to both enact the open space program and to fund it with an $8 million bond. The damage to such good faith of the voters will damage any future efforts to ask voters to put their trust in elected officials when they ask for voters to support something. The development of any subdivision of any type on open space land goes against the referendums and the Illinois state statute that governs them. You can bolster the good faith the voters and avoid what I believe will be a costly and time-consuming legal battle for the community.
You have 30 seconds.
This issue by refusing to allow the open space land to be developed as a subdivision. Thank you very much.
Thank you, Gail. Next would be Lynn McGarry.
Hi, I'm Lynn McGarry, representing the Heritage Corridor Business Alliance. So here, talking about our golf outing at Cog Hill on June 9th. I know I passed flyers out at the last meeting, but I need you to get your foursomes and twosomes. John and I don't have anybody to play with. Registered soon. The winning foursome gets around at Dub's Dread this time, but that won't be me. So this will be a really fun day, so don't miss it. And I have additional flyers if you lost yours. Thank you.
Thank you, Lynn. Next would be Bob Bennett.
Good evening. My name is Bob Bennett. I live at 15046 Eagle Ridge Drive. For reference, because it's related to my comments, that is the second house off 151st Street that backs up to the park here on Eagle Ridge Drive. I was here a year ago, almost to the day, to talk to the board about parking during the fest, primarily overflow parking that takes place in our subdivision. I also know from talking to friends and other residents it takes place in Woodbine West and takes place in Saddlebrook. I will say, with all due respect, there was some effort last year to try to control this on Eagle Ridge Drive. For about a week beforehand, there were some sort of temporary orange signs were put on the block, no parking during the fest, so on and so forth. Unfortunately, that fell way short. So let's look back at what happened. On Thursday, the night of the fireworks, there first was a police officer who was in his car with his lights on, posted in front of my house. They did have a very large street closed road blockade stopping people from entering Eagle Ridge Drive. That didn't last long. The officer left, and I don't know why. There was just an empty car that was left. Soon, that was it. By 8:30, 9 o'clock, it was the same nightmare over and over again. Cars, both sides of the street, bumper to bumper, all the way up to 151st Street, stretching up and down Eagle Ridge Drive. What was the result? When the fireworks are over, people coming back to their cars, the big roadblock is there, they can't exit onto 151st Street. Now you have a bunch of people that are three-point turning in one small area, trying to get out, arguments, shouting matches, pursuing as they have in years past, okay? Secondly, people just gave up, got out of the car, moved the sign, and started exiting on 151st. The problem with that was the Will County Sheriff's Department had all the traffic going east one way out of the park. These people were turning right. How nobody got killed, I have no idea. And then a nice little ancillary benefit, once again, Friday morning, waking up, picking garbage off from my front lawn. As you all know, the next 2 days, rain-filled, there wasn't much of a crowd. Let's fast forward to Sunday. By 2 p.m., it was the same story again. Bumper to bumper, both sides of the street, all the way to 151st, but now it's stretched deeper into the subdivision. Up Greenleaf, all the way down Eagle Ridge, hundreds upon hundreds of cars, more than I've ever seen since the fest started. You had people streaming up and down the block. God knows who was there, because it's not just all Homer Glen residents. These are people coming from all over. And I frankly don't know who's walking up and down the block. Who knows, taking a look at cars. Luckily I'm home, looking at my house, my neighbor's house, whatnot. This lasted until nightfall. Now, I came up to the park in that afternoon about 3 or 4 o'clock to inquire why there were so many cars in the subdivision. What I was told was because of the rain, all the grass area that's used for parking was too wet to park on.
You have 30 seconds.
I was told that also that an employee of the village, a Miss Amy Blank Frisoloni, who I don't know, and I'll do no due respect to her, took to Facebook to tell people start parking in the neighborhoods. All due respect, what authority does she have to start telling people where to park? Lastly, I worked a lot with the village in the past, 2004, to take care of flooding problems in Woodbine subdivision. One of the risks was emergency vehicles trying to get in and out if there was a flood. Luckily, that never happened. Sunday night, an attendee of the fest passed out on my neighbor's front lawn, which is the first house. He got lucky for 2 reasons. One, had it been an hour earlier, there were cars parked up and down the street, and the ambulance that had been called would not be able to make the turn. 2, if he had been deeper in the subdivision, no one ever would have got to him. The risk I talked about with the flooding in the street finally came to fruition, an event with not enough parking. Simply put, this was meant to be an open space, a nice open park with non-active recreation, and it's beautiful, don't get me wrong, all right? But it's become an event center. You don't have the parking, you don't have the space. And frankly, simply put, my neighbors or I are getting tired of serving as the village's overflow parking lot. I encourage you and I beg you, for the upcoming fest and a short-term solution, please come up with an answer. I would appreciate if somebody could contact me. I can review my information in the next week and a half, a couple of weeks to find out if there's a solution in the near term. But longer term, something needs to be done. You can't keep having events here when you don't have the space. I appreciate your time. Thank you very much.
Thank you, Bob. Next would be Mr. Balich.
My name is Steve Ballage. I live in Homer, Glen, and I'm the supervisor of the township. And we had a meeting at our board the other day, and it was quite a lot of people over there. A lot of people were real angry. A lot of people, I think most of the people, had the wrong idea of the project that we were presenting. You know, there were a lot of lies and rumors and innuendos or whatever. And, you know, but we listen because that's what we're supposed to do. And then when all the dust is settled, you have to look at it and say, is this a good project or a bad project? Well, it's a good project. And the village zoned that property E1 since 2002. E1 was single-family homes. So, you know, I don't get where people said it was only for open space. It wouldn't be zoned E1, and at the time, 2002, that's when all the people that worked on the incorporation and the open space were on the board. But now, with that being said, we have to look at it in a different way, because there's a lot of people that don't like the idea that we're doing that project. There's also a lot of people that think it's a fantastic project. So I don't want to be Solomon and start cutting the project in half, or saying, it's telling one person, yeah, it's good, but, or it's bad, but. It's not the way to handle it. When I was not on the board, people from other boards would come to me and say, what do we do? How do we handle this? And it was a different scenario, but the same situation. And I tell them, well, if there's not a good answer, and there's two opposing sides, and there's no way to judge what the people actually want, the best thing to do is to go to a referendum and ask the people at a referendum what they want. So I called each member of my board and I suggested that we go to a referendum. And each member of my board seemed to be thinking that might be a good idea.
You have 30 seconds.
So the end result, don't worry, I'm going to get done. It's coming to an end. So the end result is that we're going to be meeting and discussing it. And in the meantime, we want to postpone doing the public hearing on May 25th because there probably won't be a need for it. We're not killing the project, but I think what's going to happen is the township board, I think, is in favor of doing a referendum, but we haven't voted on it yet. So until we actually do, I can't say that's happening for sure. But in my opinion, that would be the logical thing to do. That way, everybody in the village and in the city of Lockport, Homer Township, gets a chance to say, we like it or we don't like it. And I think that's real important, because if I wasn't on the board, I would be wanting that myself. So you guys can take that off, and we're going to move forward with a referendum, more than likely, and that will solve the problem because everybody will say what they want, and then the village will know if the project passes that you don't even have to worry about it. It went to referendum, and you guys can just run it through. So God bless everybody.
Thank you, Steve. Next would be reports and communications from the mayor.
Frank Bugent.
Oh, I'm sorry. Sean McKee.
Frank Bugent's on the list after Steve Balich. Right after Steve Balich, George.
Yes. We're good.
I'm good.
Well,
I'm on the list.
you're on the list, but you're last, but Sean will wait for the end.
Okay.
Go ahead.
Speaking of referendums, I got a shock a few years ago. In Homer Glen, you cannot buy sparklers because they're dangerous, but you can buy guns. I think we need a referendum. There's only one place that sells guns here, and guns have one purpose, to shoot another person. And I'm not anti-gun. My dad carried a gun in the 50s. He worked in the stockyards. But the place over here, I call it Big R, it's changed hands lots of times. You can buy all kinds of guns, semi-automatics almost, and I don't think we want somebody murdered and said he bought their gun in Homer Glen. You had a nice write-up about being a safe place. Guns are not safe. Kids have fake IDs, they buy guns. I think we talked to the management of those people. I've read already about the stores. They will put something else in besides guns. I think you ought to put on a referendum as quick as possible. I couldn't believe it, George, when you told me 5 years ago I couldn't buy sparklers here, but I could buy guns. You can buy sparklers in Orland Park, but you can't buy, I believe the rules are still the same. I think the rules are ass backwards. Guns should be outlawed. Sparklers, some little kid makes his mistake with a sparkler. Gun has one purpose, to kill another person. I've known a lot of people killed with guns. I know a guy I went to school with, his father and mother were killed by his brother years ago with guns. We don't want to have somebody say they bought their guns in Homer Glen. Get the guns out of here. Let them go to Markham, Robbins, someplace else. Don't sell guns in Big R or whatever they call it now. It's the only place I know that sells guns here. They have one purpose, to kill a person. Rifles have a purpose, hunting in there. Handguns have one purpose, target practice and shooting another human being.
Thank you. Sean McKee.
Hi, I'd like to provide a correction for a statement that was made about the flock license plate reader cameras at the last board meeting by Dan. He stated, and I quote, "I've done a little bit of homework on this, the flock cameras. It was said once or twice that the picture goes away. It does not go away. The LPR system is in a digital cloud system called Vigilant, and Vigilant holds every picture ever taken of any license plate anytime anybody wants or has access to the system, can find out where that vehicle and that license plate that's been entered can be found. So I just want to put out there also, because we are not through with the flock camera system yet," unquote. This is incorrect. For proof and the facts, I reached out to the CEO of Flock, and he heard Dan's comments and provided this letter in response, which I'm going to read to you now. Dear Trustees, Flock Safety would like to correct the record from last week's Board of Trustees, during which the question was asked whether Flock Safety is connected to a database of indefinitely stored data. We would like to clarify and state that this is definitively not true. Flock Safety operates as an individual company and is in no way affiliated with Vigilant, an ALPR vendor wholly owned by Motorola. We do not currently and have never had a relationship with Vigilant. Footage of license plates that's captured by Flock Safety cameras is securely captured, transmitted to the cloud, stored for 30 days, and then permanently deleted. Here's how it works. Flock Safety data and footage is securely encrypted throughout its entire life cycle. All data is securely stored with encryption with our cloud provider, Amazon Web Services. This is the same level of encryption used by federal government agencies. On data is only stored temporarily for a short time until it is uploaded to the cloud, at which point it is removed automatically from the local device. This means the data is protected from when it is on the safety device to when it is transferred to the cloud using a secure connection to the Flock Safety servers. While stored in the cloud, all customer data is fully encrypted at rest. Flock Safety defaults to permanently deleting all data after 30 days on a rolling basis, setting a new standard in the industry. Flock has implemented several additional policies to ensure conservative data best practices. This includes Flock's customers own 100% of their data and determine who has access. Per our terms of service, Flock will never share the data with any third-party entities, including repossession, traffic enforcement, revenue collection, unpaid fines, or towing companies. We do not use facial recognition or capture any personally identifiable information such as name, phone number, or address. While searching for footage or other evidence on the Flock safety platform, law enforcement must enter reason codes to verify the legitimacy of the search and create an audit trail. Authorized users go through training to properly use our system and communicate with their dispatch teams. Users must learn how to enter legitimate reasons for search and how to audit searches as necessary. I hope this information helps alleviate your concerns that this system will help improve public safety and reduce crime here in Homer Glen while ensuring that we are protecting the privacy of residents. Sincerely, Garrett Langley, CEO of Flock Safety. You know, if you're calling this tech big brother, I wouldn't compare Flock to that. If you've got Google or Facebook on your phone, they know more about you than any three-letter federal agency. What you say, what you search for, what videos you watch, Flock is only about providing safety to our citizens. There is one accurate part of Dan's statement, and again I quote, "We are not through with the Flock camera system yet," unquote.
You have 30 seconds.
There are no further updates regarding the county's approval or installation of any new Flock cameras at this time. Thank you.
Thank you, Sean. That's it for public comment. Next, reports and communications from the mayor and other officers. My update right now is pretty simple. Our water company is still dragging it out in court. We should hear something sometime next week or July. There's no answer if it's going to be completed, but at least it's before a judge right now. Trustee Consolino.
I wasn't going to give a report tonight, but in lieu of listening to Supervisor Ballage from the township speak, I really do like the idea of the senior housing plan and its proposal going up for referendum for the voters, considering that that's what open space is for. I'm also looking into with staff right now why there is not proper zoning in regards to the open space land. And we will give everybody an update on that. But there was a lot of misinformation at that meeting the other night by residents at the township. I think there's also a lot of confusion between residents thinking that the township and the village are the same sometimes. They're not. I also think it's, a lot of the comments that I heard were very disrespectful. A lot of the comments that are on social media are very disrespectful. And a lot of it was, again, false information. So I find that very disappointing. All I can do as a board member and all the other board members can do is do our due diligence if and when this project comes before us as a proposal. I think a lot of people were under the misguidance that this was going to happen and that it was coming before the board to be voted upon, and it's not. So anybody who has any questions can always contact the board members. You can always contact our staff. You can contact our village manager. Everybody here tries to be as transparent as they can be. Again, this is not our project. Some of us do have a little interest in this proposal, and it's for the benefit of the seniors in the township, because 1/4 of the township is comprised of senior citizens, and that 1/4 is over 10,000 people. So it is a project that should be looked at. And it also is a project that we, if it doesn't go where the township would like, maybe there's other areas that we can consider in the future as well. So that's all I have to say tonight. Thank you.
Thank you. Trustee Laha.
Thank you. I'm reporting on behalf of the Ability Awareness Committee. It is with great pleasure that I congratulate our committee that they've fulfilled their first year, and I'm so excited and so proud of them. Each one of them have worked so hard, and they've met so many goals, and they've shown dedication week after week, and I'm just really proud of them. I'm sorry, I'm trying not to get emotional. They too have family members that may have special needs. They themselves And it's just really commendable to see how much work they've done in just this year. They've accomplished a lot this year. Every single one of them kind of had their hand in some sort of project. And I just feel like a proud mama bear right now. So I just want to say thank you to my committee members for putting in the year. I know you all want to come back for the next year, and that makes me really, really happy. We are going to head right into this next year full steam ahead. I also want to remind everybody in the community that we are having the Pop Tab Challenge has begun. I know Christina has passed out some of the flyers on the seat, so you can kind of take a look at those. We really want your help with those. The guidelines have changed this year, so make sure you read that. I'm not fully sure, there's a lot of them, so just kind of go through them and let us know if you have any questions. We're getting ready for the Special Needs Day at the Fest. We're really excited for that. Karen Adamczyk has been helping a lot, along with Trustee Fialko. We have, we're gonna be having gift bags and t-shirts for all of the families that are in attendance. We also will be bartending that night. The Ability Awareness Committee will be bartending that night, that Friday night at the Fest. So if you want to volunteer your time with us, we'll be raising funds for the committee for our annual project that we would love to donate to the community. We're also going to be in the parade that Saturday, so if you want to join in with us, we'll be, I'm sure Rose will talk a little bit about the parade and time, so just kind of mark the date. We'd love to have you. And that's my report.
Thank you. Trustee Rogers?
No report.
Thank you. Trustee Casarino?
Thank you, sir. I have no report, but I'd like to thank, first of all, Trustee Consolino for bringing up the situation, making those comments to get with the residents. Social media sometimes is not the best place to go for information. Call the village, call the township, and get facts. You know, every coin has two sides. And sometimes, unfortunately, the squeakiest wheel gets the oil. But then we forget about the other side of that coin. Give us a call. Let us know what you want. Let us know your opinions. But social media has been kind of rough. And sometimes the people that are on the other side of the coin don't like to say anything because they feel like their neighbors are going to yell at them or they're going to be looked upon a certain way. Let's be good to each other. Let's listen to every side, not just the side that you're on. And you never know. You might get some information that you didn't know and might change your mind. So I'm looking forward to hearing more information. Thank you for Supervisor Ballage to come in and give the referendum, because at the end of the day, it's the people that will decide. That's all I have, sir.
Thank you. Next will be Trustee Reynolds.
Thank you, Mayor. A couple of things. I don't have any updates on the parade. We will be having our second meeting tomorrow, so at our next board meeting, I will be giving everybody an update on the parade, which will be held on March 25th. We are going to be holding the parade a little bit earlier this year. It'll start at 9:30 versus 10 o'clock. Lineup will be at 9. If anybody's interested in participating in the parade, I would ask that you please contact Vicki Bozen. We are trying to get that all sewed up as fast as we can because there are a lot of people that are interested. So we really need to get that all put together within the next week or so. So as far as parks, I don't have anything to update yet. We haven't had our next meeting yet since the last board meeting. And we did have our CED meeting on Monday, and a couple of things that we talked about were the gateway signs for the village. As I don't know if everybody's aware that we're in the process of updating and changing those signs. We did install the first one over by the gas and wash, and right now we're in the process of researching other areas within the village where we feel the necessity for the signs. And we're also talking about the message board signs. So we actually had a discussion there amongst ourselves there, and our recommendation will be going to Melissa I know that they're doing some research as well. So that's my report. Thank you.
Last will be Trustee Fialko.
Yes, thank you, sir. Just as a reminder, Homerfest is 6 weeks away. Any updates or information about Homerfest, you can go to homerfest.com. We do have a link on the website also for volunteers. If anybody is willing to volunteer 2 hours or so out of the 4 days that the fest will be going on, there is a link under special events to volunteer and fill out the form, or call 708-301-0632. The other thing is for special needs, there's a link for special needs to register for special needs. I don't remember if you mentioned that or not. There is on that Friday from 2:30 to 4:30 p.m., the fest will be hosting a special needs pre-carnival party. That is on Friday, June 24th, again from 2:30 to 4:30, and you can also register on the village website for that there. I'd also like to say thank you to Amy Blank for all the help that she's done throughout the years with the fest. She has left the village to take care of her family needs, and I just want to say thank you very much to Amy for all of her help with the fest for all the years that she's been with us. The other thing is the Kite Festival is also on May 14th from 11 to 4 p.m. I don't think I heard anybody mention that. I'd also like to thank Mr. Balich for talking to his trustees and putting this issue to a referendum. I think that's the right thing to do. I know you're not there yet. You still have to get the votes from your trustees. But collectively, I think that everybody thinks that that's the right way to go. And I thank you for having the courage to do that. I don't believe that there was any malice involved with the initiating this and trying to do something for the township and the village. That its intention was to reduce the taxes on the township side. So as we progress forward with that, we'll then see what the residents and the constituents, how everybody feels about that. And thank you for doing that. In regards to the flock cameras, I would like to respond to the comment that was made a little bit earlier. My information came from an FBI agent who has no interest in the sales portion of the flock cameras with this village at all. He's unbiased with his opinion. We all know that anything that goes in the cloud can be saved. It depends on the person who's operating that device. So when I came with information, the information was from a retired FBI agent who has no ties, once again, to the sales portion of this. Just to get to the, I guess, to the point of why this is being discussed, we were just named #1, safety first, most safest village in the state of Illinois, which is great. And our police department and the community all work together to keep us a very safe place. And we're all proud that we all work together and that takes place, and we end up on the list to be #1. So what it comes down to is when it costs $29,000 to the residents for this system to be installed, and then $25,000 a year to maintain it, that's the question. Do you, as the taxpayers, want to pay that type of money for a system that's taking pictures of your license plates and keeping it, let's say, even for a certain amount of time on an annual basis? So my point is, I'm not against it, but I'm going to keep reaching out to the people and talking with the people of our community to see if that's something they want their tax dollars spent on. And that's what it comes down to, is the cost. So this is long from over, like I said at the last meeting, and I've actually asked Lieutenant Taylor if he can keep a tab on the cameras that have been installed so far, and if they've produced any crime-solving evidence, because I believe there's still only 2 out there. So again, we have quite a ways to go with this yet. I don't believe our 60 days, or I believe it's 60 days, trial period does not start till after the 6th camera is installed. So anyway, that is my report, sir.
Sir,
Really quick.
on one, because there's 3 different things they want me to read, but I'm only doing 2 of them, but one right now.
Just a quick question.
Homer Glen is holding a raffle for users of our Simplicity Homer Glen mobile app. First prize is a 65-inch 4K TV. Second prize is a $125 gift card for Meyer. Third place is $75 gift card from Jewel Lasco. The drawing will be held on May 20th at 9 a.m. And winners will be notified by phone. Winners can pick up their prize at the board meeting on May 25th and will be photographed receiving the prize. If you haven't signed on for the Simplicity app, there's simply no better time than now. That's out of the way. Village Clerk.
Thank you, Mayor. Just a little reminder, as you just proved my point, if you guys can remember to turn your mics on, because it is very hard for the recording to hear you guys when you speak. It's basically silent. And then I was requesting if I can save my report to old business, as Mr. Baber, myself, and Deputy Clerk Gina Marcotte are looking for guidance on what to do with the business licenses from here. So if I can save that for old business, it'd be appreciated.
Yeah, Joe, where did you, I've got the list of the people that still haven't paid, and some of them are getting to where the point is.
Mayor, that's what I was going to go over in old business, if you don't mind if we save it.
No, that's what I was going to turn over to you.
Okay.
Mayor Yukich, can I ask, Trustee Fialko, when does the link go live for the families to register for the?
It's posted already.
It's posted.
I didn't click on it, but the link is there to actually click on under special events.
Perfect. Thank you so much. I'll make sure that an email goes out to our families.
All right, so you wanted to know on it?
I want to discuss it under old business on the agenda, on item J.
Okay. That's fine with me. Everyone else okay with it? Okay. All right, Christine, are you set?
Yes.
All right, Village Attorney?
No report, Your Honor.
Village Attorney?
Thank you, Your Honor. Nothing.
Village Manager? Not here right now. Okay. Public safety officials? Jeff? Okay.
Trustee Fialko stole some of my thunder. Homer Glen was voted the safest place to live in Illinois, one of several times the past 2 years. We've been in the top 5 or top 10. Crime has been up all over the country the last 3 years, and it's actually been down 25% in Homer, which is pretty amazing. Mayor Yukich, thank you for the kind comments in the article. We always appreciate your continued support. It means a lot. Sheriff Kelly does everything he can to support us, gives us everything we need, including assigning his best lieutenant to Homer. We have excellent sergeants and deputies that have a vested interest in the community. This is a great place to work. The community supports us, which makes a huge difference every day. And we plan on keeping the ranking near the top for the forthcoming years. So thank you.
Thank you. Okay. So next would be consent agenda. 1, consider for approval the accounts payable for the period of April 29th, 2022 through May 12th, 2022 in the amount of $159,563.41. Number 2, consider for approval payment of the Village of Homer Glen's March legal bills from Mahoney, Silverman, and Cross, LLC in the amount of $4,192.50. And then 3, consider for approval payment of the Village of Homer Glen's March legal bills from legislation attorney Odelson, Sturk, Murphy, Frazier, McGrath, LTD in the amount of $11,966.17. Do I have a motion?
So move.
Second.
Trustee Pazmino and Rose, was it?
Is he here, Jen?
Jen, was it you first or second or?
It's second.
All right, discussion. No, there's no discussion on that one. All in favor?
Roll call.
Christine?
Trustee Laha?
Aye.
Trustee Reinders?
Aye.
Trustee Rogers?
No.
Trustee Consolino?
Aye.
Trustee Fialko?
Aye.
Trustee Pazmino?
Aye.
Motion carries. Next would be legislation and action items. Consider for approval a proclamation designating May 15th through May 15th through 21st, 2022 as Public Works Week. Okay, here's this one.
So moved.
Yeah, motion?
Second.
Okay. Whereas public works professionals focus on infrastructure and services that are vital importance to sustainable and resilient communities and to the public health, high quality of life, and well-being of the people of the village of Homer Glen, Illinois. And whereas these infrastructure facilities and services could not be provided without the dedicated efforts of public works professionals at all levels of government who are responsible for rebuilding, improving, and maintaining our transportation drainage systems and other structures essential for our citizens. And it is a public interest for the citizens and civic leaders in the village of Homer Glen to gain knowledge of and to maintain ongoing interest and understanding the importance of public works and the Public Works Program. And whereas the year 2022 marks the 62nd Annual National Public Works Week, sponsored by the American Public Works Association, the Village of Homer Glen joins the American Public Association and recognizes the contributions of public works professionals to the health, safety, and welfare of the citizens of the Village of Homer Glen, Illinois, and cities and villages across the nation. Now, therefore, be it proclaimed that the President and Board of Trustees of the Village of Homer Glen do hereby designate the week May 15th through the 21st of 2022 as National Public Works Week in the Village of Homer Glen, approved and adopted this 11th day of May 2022. Thank you.
Roll call.
Thanks for all the hard work.
Being that we have our first Public Works Director, maybe you would like to say a word or two about your department?
Sure. Well, I appreciate the fact that the board's considering this and honoring the men and women of the department over there. They do a tremendous amount of work, as they have done formerly as the road district, now they're doing as our Public Works Department. This week was originally designated in 1960 by the American Public Works Association as a way of increasing the community's knowledge of what goes on in public works. Next week we have different things for social media that we'll put out there for each day of the week. It's always celebrated the third full week of May. And so next year I'll be back asking, hopefully I'll be back asking for it again.
Well, thank you very much. And thank you to you and your team that takes care of all of our public works things. You've done a great job. I know this is the first round, the first year for this, and thank you for everything that you've done.
Thank you, Trustee.
All in favor?
Aye. Aye.
Any opposed? Thank you. All right, next, consider a motion to approve the bid proposal from the Kenneth Company for the design, procurement, and installation of playground equipment at the Heritage Park Active Core in the amount of $224,000.
I'll make that motion.
I'll second.
You'll go. Because we know. Discussion?
I do want to say thank you to Rose and Nicole for taking and moving this forward and taking care of this. It's an inclusive playground, and I also noticed that this is made in America too, so how can we do better than that? And I think this is long over needed for Heritage Park, and thank you so much for taking care of that so fast.
Hear, hear.
I'd also like to thank the Parks Committee that a lot of people forget about. A lot of hours and dedication go into that. So congratulations and thank you.
You're welcome. This is, a small step in the right direction, and I'm emotionally proud that we're going to be seeing more accessible playground equipment, more inclusive things to play with, and I thank you for this consideration.
And I can't begin to tell you how many people in the village are so excited about this playground. I've been getting all weekend, for the last couple weeks, people have been coming to the restaurant and saying, oh my God, we're getting a park, we're getting a park, we're getting a slide. I'm like, yeah, we're getting slides, we're getting everything. So everybody's really excited about it. And like, I thank you, Dan, because Nicole and I did work very hard on this, and our committee worked very hard on this. Oh, we're not done yet. We got lots more where that came from.
In a good old-fashioned playground.
Yep, a good old-fashioned playground.
Okay, all in favor?
Aye.
I think I have to do a roll call.
Okay, all right. Roll call.
Trustee Pazmino?
Aye.
Trustee Laha?
Aye.
Trustee Fialko?
Aye.
Trustee Consolino?
Aye.
Trustee Reinders?
Aye.
And Trustee Rogers?
Motion carries. Next, consider a motion to approve the Davis Concrete Construction Company bid for the 2022 sidewalk and curb repair and replacement program in the amount of $116,850.
So move.
I will second that.
Trustee Pazmino and Fialko, discussion?
I do have a question for Brent, Director of Public Works. As far as coming up with this, I have got a few complaints, and we've got a few issues on Eagle Ridge Drive that I've been talking with the neighbors about recently. Are we treating the sidewalk program similar to the road resurfacing program, where we've got somebody out there, or are we just based on calls that then they get repaired? Just so the public knows on how to handle this, and knowing that we've got this program, because I believe this is the first time we've done it this way.
No, this is the way the road district used to do it. They also had a separate program, which they don't do anymore, which was the 50-50 program, where they split the cost of it, of replacing the sidewalk with the resident. They stopped doing that program, and this one is based on an assessment of the sidewalk area. So we'll go over there, we'll look at it. If it's causing a hazard, and it's a serious hazard to public safety, they'll go in and we'll designate that one to be replaced. You know, a section of a sidewalk, a square or two, whatever it would be. Sometimes, most of the time, you'll see them, parkway trees or the roots are pushing the sidewalks up, and that seems to be the biggest. So
is it complaint driven, the walk down, or is a walk down, an annual walk down in observation of the sidewalk?
It's an ongoing, because they never designated in the past more than about 1,200 square feet.
Right.
This year we did the same for budget constraints. And so what we're going to do is they have a list from last year of sections that didn't get replaced, and we continuously add to that, and until we're finished with the amount of money we have for that year, and then we continue to the next year with it.
Okay, thank you.
And again, you know, when budget time comes around, we will, when this bid goes out next year, if the board will put whatever amount the board wants to consider for that program for next year.
Last question I would have about it, just we talked about this in A&F a little bit, but we've got 4 people that put in bids. 2 of them didn't include their certificate of insurance, and 2 did. And the reason we chose Davis Construction Company over the other 3, because they weren't the lowest, but they were the lowest with the insurance certificate included. Was that why Davis got chosen?
That is correct.
Thank you.
Okay, any other questions on it? Madam Clerk, please call the roll.
Trustee Fialko?
Aye.
Trustee Consolino?
Aye.
Trustee Reinders?
Aye.
Trustee Rogers?
Aye.
Trustee Pazmino?
Aye.
Trustee Laha?
Aye.
Okay, next, consider a motion to approve the Preform Traffic Control LTD bid for providing road striping services.
So move. I will second that.
Discussion? Nothing? Okay, Madam Clerk, could you please call the roll?
Trustee Consolino?
Aye.
Trustee Reinders?
Aye.
Trustee Rogers?
Aye.
Trustee Pazmino?
Aye.
Trustee Laha?
Aye.
And Trustee Fialko?
Aye.
Motion carries. Next, consider a motion to approve the Vulcan Construction Materials LLC for the stone and gravel for 2022 in the amount of $34,852.80.
I will make that motion.
I'll second.
Discussion?
And we also discussed this in A&F also, and if I remember correctly, the delivery is also included with that cost, right?
Correct.
And the storage of this item with these different types of, we have a place to store all this that you have already.
Yeah, we have the bins out in the Public Works yard. You'll notice there's concrete bins. Each bin has a different type of material in it. The township is also constructing their own bins. They joined us, the road district joined us in this bid. I invited them to join us for a better price, and they opted to join us on this one. So they will also be purchasing off of this contract and storing it in their bins on their side.
All right, thank you.
Any other conversation on that? Madam Clerk, could you please call the roll?
Trustee Reinders? Aye. Trustee Rogers? Aye. Trustee Pasbino?
Aye.
Trustee Laha?
Aye.
Trustee Fialko?
Aye.
And Trustee Consolino?
Aye.
Okay, next would be old business.
Oh, that's me.
That's you.
Yeah, that's me. Okay. So I put some papers on before you. I'm not going to read the list of businesses, but Gina and I had worked on this quite a bit. If you look where the three little check marks are to the left of the name, those are the people who had paid the citation. The board had agreed that a $75 citation would suffice if they didn't pay their business license registration fee or late fee on time. The ones that do not have the check mark by them have not paid anything at all. So they did not pay their business fee, late fee, or citation. And then you'll see the notes to the right where they say either they paid 30 or they paid 30 plus 30. There's all those little notes. So there's currently 11 businesses with no active business license right now. I also provided the ordinance on business licenses, and then it also states in there, if you look in, I believe it's chapter 14 or 114 or something, another, I provided that, which is this piece of paper here. And if you read that, you can see that there's really no strict guidelines of what the next step is. So there's a no due date of what you guys want us to do. So we're just looking for a little guidance. So as of right now, I can tell you where we're at. The businesses that did not pay on time, they paid the $75 citation. We're good with that. We're asking for guidance on where you would like us to go for the businesses that have not paid anything at this time. We are recommending that we double the fine of $150. And if they don't pay it by June 1st, it would double again. We have contacted all these businesses with no response. The first one that does not have the check mark by them, starts with the little letter L, they did say that they were going to come in and pay this week. But that's the only person that we have heard from. We're also asking if you want, if you guys would like for Mr. Baber to go to each business, because according to our ordinance, like I said, they're operating without a business license. So we want some guidance on what you would like us to do, how much, and when the deadline is.
If we can't get a hold of them, then Joe, go to...
I personally go in and visit each one. Seems to be an effective way. We know that way that it's being hand-delivered and that it's not getting lost in the mail or for whatever reason it may be going. Some of these businesses actually are out of state, so we don't know where the mail's going and if the proper parties are getting it. So I do like to go in and just hand deliver the notices.
So like perfect example, if you go to the last one that's typed out that starts with the letter D, obviously the business owner is not going to be there on site. So we would have to mail them something, but we're looking at what you would like this letter to say. Would you like it to say you owe the $30 business fee, $30 late fee, $70 or $150 citation fee, and then if you don't pay it by, I'm just throwing out June 1st, it then goes up to $300 by July 1st and then so forth? Or do you want to allow them to still operate? Do you want them to shut down? We're looking for guidance because according to the ordinance here in chapter 114, it says we have the right to fine them every single day that they are operating without a business license.
There's no real clear direction on the penalty process and what that penalty might be. It's pretty vague.
Well, I recommend that we do come up with some sort of a process, that way it doesn't keep coming this way.
Right, exactly.
Perhaps, Clerk Nitschke, you could come up with a protocol and then recommend it to us and we can go forward. I will tell you that if somebody came knocking on my door and said they were going to shut down my business for $60, I'd probably cut a check right away. It's only fair. We all have to pay our dues. State of Illinois, you don't pay your liquor license, guess what? You're not selling liquor. Again, everybody has to put in their part. All the businesses, most of the businesses, I mean, everybody's doing great. So it's time to give back to the village. And again, it's $60. Everybody should put in their part.
I will say none of these businesses sell liquor or tobacco or have a gaming license, just so you all know.
Oh, that's right.
And from
The liquor licenses are $2,000. Yeah.
And from my understanding, they've been already given a few notices,
Yes,
correct? Like multiple, this is not like, yeah.
And how did we notify them before?
Well, through mail.
Oh, through mail, okay.
Mail, email, and phone calls.
Do you do it registered?
I'm sorry.
Do you do it registered where there's a signature on the back of it? Because some of these people
Yeah,
could be out of
sometimes
state.
the difficulty in registered or certified mail is people see certified and they don't want to pick it up. That's so if we found that doing certified as well as regular mail, as well as giving it, hand delivering it with documentation it's being hand delivered and who it was hand delivered to is probably the most effective way to do it.
I agree, but you're going to still get some that might not be at home.
Well, most of the businesses, I could track these people down.
Okay.
Would it be,
As long as we're starting to look at ordinances a couple at a time, maybe you and Joe could pull this one to the list and we can tweak it to make it fit however it would help Joe out in the process, and so it doesn't have to keep coming back here. Maybe that is one that we could take a look at.
would it be okay if we asked Attorney Horvath for his opinion? As if he's dealt with this before?
With respect to enforcement, it would be a relatively simple process to amend your ordinance to make it enforceable. If they don't pay on time, to make it enforceable through your administrative hearing court as a violation of a village ordinance, and you would issue a ticket with a proposed fine, bring the individual into the hearing process. Most people would probably pay prior to the hearing itself because
We've done that.
fees are so low.
We've done that. We've done that. There's 8 outstanding violation notices right now that I issued tickets for that they did not pay for. And they did not show an adjudication, which by ordinance they were supposed to show up to. So that process is in place.
You impose the fine and perhaps add a provision in your ordinance that if the fine or the license fee is not paid within a certain period of time, an action will be instituted to close the business.
That's what I'm asking for today, so we can change the ordinance, present it to you, and then you guys can adopt it. So that's what we're looking for, so we can move forward on this as soon as possible.
Also, I think you're looking for a time frame, too.
Correct.
So how long would we be willing to let these businesses run without a license?
And also, how close are we to getting this online where people can pay the licenses online?
So that's the next part of this that we're going to present to you at the next, well, we were going to do it on the May 25th, but we pushed it to the next one after that for obvious reasons. But we can bring it to the the May 25th meeting because we're looking at changing those.
Yeah, I think it would be helpful because I'm the biggest offender because I never look at my mail because I do everything online. So, I mean, I can understand if somebody doesn't look at their mailbox because I get stacks like this, and most of it goes in the garbage anyway, but for that, a couple of things, it would be great if there was a way that we could pay this online.
What really happened, what really complicated this was the last 2 years of COVID where we were waiving fees, and then we had changes in business owners, and we lost a lot of the contact information of some of these business owners. One of these I know, for example, we don't really know who the current business owner is. Because we just don't have those documents for the last 2 years. Nobody was providing us with that information. This is a good way for us to know who the actual business owners are, who their emergency contact information is, different for a number of reasons. So it's an important thing.
All the information they can put on the application online as well.
Right, there's just a few hiccups with that we're trying to work through with the company that's providing that, so we're just trying to figure that all out.
I don't think that the means or the method of getting these applications to the business owners, I know online is a good way to do it, but these particular businesses have been served and mailed. They have this. They have it. It's not because it's an inconvenience and they can't get that.
No, I'm just saying for payment, it's much easier to pay something
No,
out.
I agree. Yeah, we're working on that.
Now, just for clarity, this license, this was due when?
I'm sorry?
When was the payment, this was due by?
December 31st, the late of, yes.
So I think you guys have been, you've been pretty patient.
So Joe, you haven't knocked on any of the doors yet though, right?
I am.
Out of the 11?
Yes, I have.
Oh, you have knocked on doors?
Yeah.
Okay.
Yeah, and some have come, usually when I do that, they do comply.
Okay. And out of those 11, how many of those are home-operated businesses?
None.
Not storefronts, none of them, right?
No.
Okay. For additional information, though, in the strip malls, usually the owner of that strip mall should have information that you might be missing, maybe that would help out, or were you able to talk to all of them?
Well, it's usually a manager of, I'll speak to, give them the information, a store manager. It's not necessarily the business owner. Managers don't always process the paperwork for the business. So every situation is different depending on the type of business.
So if I may, Trustee Fielder, I wanted to also let you know, yes, this is just the commercial ones, the brick and mortar businesses. We do have home businesses in the same situation as well, but we are going to tackle that at another time as well, because we want to change that with the ordinance and stuff. So just so you know, this is just brick and mortar.
Thank you.
I would just like to see something in which,
we have a process. We have a process.
Mr. Baber won't have to go knocking on
Exactly.
people's doors because
That's what I'm looking for. So if you guys are okay with it, I can type up something tomorrow, present it to you guys via email, and you guys can respond with how you'd like some things changes, tweaked, and then we'll come back. But for now, for starting tomorrow, you guys want to give it just a temporary deadline of June 1st to pay the $125 or $150?
Yeah, we'll reevaluate what outstanding citation fees may be out there, so we'll have to look at what is overall owed the village as far as fees go.
You guys okay with that? Okay, great, thank you.
We're still under...
We're still under old business. Do you have anything else?
No, I don't. We talked
All
about
right.
block cameras or anything.
Next one would be new business, and the new business is cancellation of the village board meeting on June 22nd, 2022.
So move.
Second.
Well, we're not.
We're not going to, they cancel it, it's just so.
I was just excited about it, I'm sorry.
I get that way too.
We just want to make sure that happened.
Well, is there any other new business?
Okay. The Welter Farm workshop that has been talked about there out in Facebook land, just so everybody knows, there is no workshop on the 25th. Correct. So everybody knows there will be no workshop on the Welter Farm property. The other thing is I want to make sure that we all know that committee assignments are due at the next meeting. I believe I'm correct on that one, unless somebody knows otherwise. I just want to make sure that all of us know that we're supposed to be prepared for that on the 25th.
Thank you.
We'll probably bring that up for the next meeting.
Well, that's the meeting that we have to make the assignment.
Right.
So this, I'm just reminding everybody now that we need to be ready for that on the 25th.
Okay. Kerry, is there anything that's going to be in executive session?
I do not have anything.
Then, let me see what I got here. I think it's just going to be a motion to adjourn, but let's look. All right, I need a motion to adjourn.
I'll make that motion.
Second.
All in favor?
Aye.
Aye.
All opposed? Thank you, everyone, for coming out.
8:04.
Should have been shorter.
Drink either.